dive in, check out my brand new essential oil blends crafted with scalar charged crystals, now available on my website. Now, if you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in a personal session, check out my website, ReadingsWithBree.com. Let's dive into the topic for today. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back for another crystal ball and tarot reading. I really wanted to do a reading, like a general energy reading for you guys on this upcoming 9th date. Because as I talked about in my past September video, we talked quite a bit about 2025 being a 9-year, which is also a representation of endings and these old structures falling. But on top of that, you guys, we are also in a 9-month double nines, and we're entering into also a 9-day over the next couple days here. So pretty powerful when we look at 999 and seeing this as like a trinity of completions. So I wanted to just see what the crystal ball had to say, and we're going to pull some tarot on this date and see what messages Spirit wants to share with us. And I'm really looking forward to diving into this. So let's dive in, lovely souls, and see what we can get for this 999 portal. So I'm just going to take a moment and see what messages are coming out. We'll pull a couple of my favorite oracles as well. And I'm going to see what comes out of the crystal ball here. Oh, we've already got some cards falling out. All right, we have 3, which is quite a beautiful combination because we have the Judge, the Prayer, and the Village. And the back of the deck is the Unseen. So let's take those cards because they wanted to pop out for us here today. And when I was looking at September as well, again, for that monthly energy report, again, lots of endings, you guys, with these structures falling. And guess what? We have that Village card. So this is, again, a representation of us coming together as a collective and connecting, standing up, realizing that we are powerful. And when we say no to these old systems that have kept us bound and chained, we're going to see some really amazing things really come together. So I'm going to take a moment and see what messages are coming out of the crystal ball, and then we'll pull some tarot and see how that integrates with the oracles as well. Now there's so much just beautiful holographic, color streaming across the crystal ball as well. It's definitely something that comes out quite often in this ball. And I have to say, like, there's just this energy of Gaia just moving and shaking. It's almost like she's dancing within these holographic ribbons that are surfacing in the crystal ball. And when we look at 9, again, yes, we've talked about 9 as being completion and endings, but it does go deeper in a sense of that 999 date as well, because it's what I'm seeing is more of like a seal point within the grid of Mother Earth and Gaia. And this is when also these timelines are they're not able to harmonize with the new frequency, and they're forced to collapse here. And it's quite interesting. I might also integrate the question when we're looking into Trump and a recent meeting he had at the White House. It came out in one of my lives. Somebody was asking about why Bill Gates was at this recent meeting. So we might touch base on that as well, because when I actually pulled on that, I got a lot to represent actually a lot of endings within the system. And yes, it could be portrayed as this collaboration and coming together, but from what I can see, it is like them, pretty much falling to the ground. It's like the fall of the false kings. And 9, yes, is like the end of a cycle, but when we have it tripled, it's showing as a cosmic gate that is closing here. That is what I see in the crystal ball. And when I say that, it's almost like it's not about actually new beginnings, it's about a purging point. And what is false, what is unseen, is going to come out. The Judge is all about karma. It's that Justice card. And we have the prayers and the Village, the people coming together, because what we have been blind to is going to surface substantially over the next couple of days to weeks ahead as well. Now, when I say that, it's going to be kind of like a domino effect as well. But I think a lot of this is linked to, from what I can see, like politicians and the governments are going to be a big big factor in this energy. So on this specific day, I'm actually seeing like Mother Earth. What I'm seeing is acupuncture, and it's like 4999. Mother Earth is receiving these pressure points that are going to be released on that day. So we may even expect some grumbling within the systems when it comes to potentially maybe some earthquakes surfacing, or floods, or even disturbances or disruptions with blackouts or electricity. And it's quite interesting because I see this as like certain fractures within the governments, the banking systems, institutions. They're going to start to show more and more cracks happening, starting on the 9th, moving into the days and weeks ahead as well. So massive energies happening here. And I think this is a big opportunity for the collective as well to like... Okay, many of us, I'm going to take a step back because I feel like many of us are feeling quite distorted at this time. There's so much stuff surfacing. There's massive purging going on, and we are feeling this. A lot of us are feeling this on a physical level with actual symptoms. But I see this as this is a window also of opportunity to release and collapse what we don't want anymore. And it's quite interesting because I see this as also, I'm seeing like memory activations from ancient systems, from energy healing, and working with our star family, and more people are going to start to receive so-called, let's say, downloads, especially in their dream state. Okay, and I wanted to quickly share also, it was interesting, last night I had this dream where I was shot into some kind of matrix in this dream. And there was only a few of us that were working to, let's say, escape and get out of the so-called matrix. And when we looked around, it was such an interesting dream. It was so surreal. And so many of these individuals were on cloud 9. I guess they were in their own little bubble, and as we refer to them as like NPCs. So completely oblivious to what's happening. And myself with there was a couple other guys that were also trying to figure out what was happening within this setting that we were in. And one thing I wanted to share, those every time we were able to so-called, let's say we got through some kind of a hack within the system, the whole dream would it's like a power surge would happen and the lights would flicker. And multiple times when we were getting past these certain codes within this reality that we were in, it's like the lights would go on and off. It's like they couldn't do anything. They couldn't keep us there if we surpassed or broke through the so-called matrix. So it was quite an interesting dream, but I feel like it integrates quite well with what we're talking about as well. So something that I wanted to share too is like, even though there's been really some intense energies for, I know so many of us, I've been getting so many emails and through my sessions, just so many people struggling with, physical symptoms and massive purging and triggers and traumas coming up. But if we can look at these as, an opportunity to move through these identities and come out with a whole new version of ourselves, this is a really good time to do that, because it's like that weight has been lifted. And I don't know, let me know if you guys agree, but the last couple days I have been doing a lot of visualization in my meditations when it comes to just radiating this beautiful like white light, and I've been seeing my cells, I've been seeing my body radiating in gold. That's what I've been visualizing and taking in. And I have been feeling like I've been radiating and I've been glowing. I don't typically wear makeup. I don't have any makeup on right now. And I just feel like my skin's glowing, like my aura's glowing. So that magnetism also ripples outwards. And it's quite an interesting thing to see interactions with people and individuals when you're in that vibration of just feeling radiant. So what I wanted to share with you there, as well as like you guys can take this time to move through these triggers and these traumas and surrender to them and enter into a whole new vibration and frequency, because that's what this 999 is about. Closing out that old and stepping into something that is light, that is magnetic, and that is powerful. So I get, you guys, this 999 portal, as we can call it, is an opportunity to so-called, if you want to use the word quantum leap, then go for it. But that is what I'm seeing for a lot of us, and the ability to do that during this time. So let's see what other messages are coming out, and we'll also pull the tarot here. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably tired of me saying this, but again, I keep seeing this judge too on the corner of my eye, and this is a time of discernment. And the judge here is saying like the truth will not be hidden anymore. And this is regarding systems, this is leaderships, politicians. There's going to be definitely a big surface level of stuff coming out when it comes to these systems, but also personal relationships, jobs, okay, all of that stuff. It's like that judge, it's like things are being called to court here, and we are being forced to see what has been hidden. So let's take a moment. I'm going to pull some tarot as well, because that prayer, remember guys, the prayer is all about also surrender, and it is to surrender and ask. It's more about alignment and less about asking, if that makes sense, okay, with that prayer. So let's see, Spirit, what can you share about the overall energies when it comes to this 9-9 portal? What can you share? 9-9 portal, 999 portal, 3 9s. All right, we have Temperance, Knight of Swords, 5 of Pentacles in the past, 2 of Swords. That choice point, you guys, it's sitting on that fence between, guess what, the old systems falling and the new coming in. The Temperance is also that card of divine energy. It is harmonious. The star and the moon. Wow. So probably also when we look at this, there's probably some big astrological energies happening during this time as well. So I mean, you guys will have to let me know. I know we just did a recent meditation, the moon in Pisces, but we definitely have that star and the moon coming out, which is aspecting this 999 day. The Temperance in this 999 day is the perfect card to get here, because this is a card and an energy of balance and integration and alchemy here. And it really shows that even in a day of collapse, it's like our oversoul is urging harmony here and not chaos. So there's a lot of it's like revelations that are going to come out here. We have that 2 of Swords in that present moment. So it's like a crossroad. So people standing at a crossroad, the collective and that truth. Many cannot see that truth yet, but they will feel pressured to make a choice in the days ahead, you guys, because this is sitting on that fence. Are you gonna open your eyes and see what's happening, or are you gonna continue to fall into these old, structures and political elite circles that have been pushing a lot of corruption and nonsense? So it is that choice point happening. But it's also holding stillness. Again, in that presence, in that stillness, there can be a lot of things that can emerge beyond those illusions. So very important to tune into your heart, you guys, as always. Now, the Knight of Swords in this energy is showing fast things coming out, you guys. We're going to start to see whistleblowers. We're going to start to see the truth come out quite fast here. So again, global leaks, momentums, movements with people coming together with sovereignty, just a really, swift action here. So I do think also this is going to really link into what I was seeing in the crystal ball when it comes to downloads, you guys. Pay attention to your dreams at night. If you have a journal behind your bed or beside your bed, it's like pay attention to these, because there's going to be so much aha moments and downloads coming in, especially in our dream state here. So a lot of things movements are going to move too quickly to suppress. So it's going to bring more awareness to the collective and to the people that you know, have had their eyes closed as well. Now, I will say the Four of Pentacles as the outcome is still a representation of a lot of individuals still holding on to those old structures, you guys. So, I mean, this is about, I will say though, with the star, it does soften this energy. But a lot of this could be also news and information coming out about extraterrestrials in our star family as well, representing that actual star card there. But this is AI technologies, and this really links into that question I want to touch base on again with the White House meeting, because you know, Bill Gates actually came up as that star card, which is again a push for AI and certain technologies here. But again, my friends, this is again us being urged to stop clutching to the old world, the Four of Pentacles. Okay, if we do, fear will grow. If we surrender to that, we're going to stay in our truth. We're going to be able to find that still point and move forward into the new energies. So just very important to find your still point. I keep hearing that, find your still point, find your still point. Because again, the past is still that Five of Pentacles. We have been out in the cold for way too long, you guys, and it is time. People are going to step up and say, okay, enough is enough. So I think that there's still going to be a lot of powerful movements and momentums coming up here with revelations and just, you know, the collective coming together. Because if we really realize, like, look at these people, like the politicians and the individuals, these elite circles, look at how many there are of them versus us. You know, if even a percentage of us came together, we can absolutely override these systems and choose a new way. So that is what's coming, you guys. It's the age of Aquarius. Now, I want to take a moment and circle back to the whole situation with this recent Trump meeting that he had at the White House. I mean, I believe Bill Gates was there. We have Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, and it was really kind of portrayed also as this collaboration and looking at AI when it comes to, I think one of the articles, let me pull up here, President Trump tech leaders unite to power American AI dominance. Now, again, I have said this many, many times, but again, when we look at AI, and, you know, it's not going anywhere. We are in the age of Aquarius. This is going to be something that will continue with robots, with AI, with health technologies. So this is not something that's going away. But again, it is something to be aware of and bring our attention to and use our, guess what, discernment. Because even though there are, like, this is marketed as innovations and breakthroughs, right? It's really important to know that there still is going to be a push from those elites when it comes to surveillance, vaccinations and cures, etc. And when I got this, I'm telling you guys, this is such a double confirmation. I want to pull this again because when I pulled this a couple days ago, I had the outcome as a dead end for my dead end oracle from this deck, and I also had the 10 of Swords. So what looks like a innovation and collaboration is really them gripping onto their old systems and their powers falling. And with this 9/9 energy, I see Mother Earth and Gaia coming out. Like I said in the beginning, she's like dancing in these holographic ribbons. And this energy is going to ripple through and also cause more things to be balanced. The judge, the justice. What can you share, Spirit? We want to revisit the dinner at the White House, I believe it was, with Trump and these high-level politicians and leaders. What can you share? Let's look at that energy. All right. So Trump, we have the Sun, King of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant with that deep state energy. Two of Swords again, and we have the Chariot with the Hermit on the back of the deck. So you guys, when we look at this, I'm going to take one of these cards too. Okay, we have the Maiden and the Queen. Now, the queen is that big sovereign earth herself. I see this as Mother Gaia, okay? And something else I want to note too, because we are looking at more of the political questions or the governments as well. It would not surprise me in the very near future that we start to see a shift in certain leaders that become females. So that's quite an interesting thing that I'm getting as well. So we may see very much a very shift in certain political leaders or governments when it comes to more of a feminine coming to the surface, okay? Now, the maiden as well, this is quite beautiful because we have the queen as that sovereign energy herself, and the maiden is that new life. It's the innocence. And when I see this is kind of dressed up. Well, when we look at this meeting with Trump and these high leaders, there's certain things that are dressed up in like new hopes and new innovations. But again, it's all about the money, the power, the money, and the greed. Look at the King of Pentacles here, you guys. Look at the way he's looking at that coin. That's all they care about: power, money, resources, okay? So let's dissect this energy when it comes to this meeting. I've got Trump and these leaders as the sun. So this is again on the surface showing a sense of joy, a sense of optimism, right? It is like these new initiatives and innovations that are coming together with these leaders. But you know, the sun also signifies ego and it signifies legacy. And when we look at Trump, he really positions himself as like that central figure. And the thing is, when we look at this King of Pentacles next to it, this is all about agreements and alliances that are forged for the long term when it comes to materialistic things, rooted in materialistic things, resources. Like, it's very much financially motivated, okay? Surprise, surprise. I mean, that doesn't surprise, I'm sure that doesn't surprise any of us. But the Hierophant is also my deep state card, right? So this is when we're looking at the doctrines and these systems that are falling, you guys. Okay, whatever was seated here was to filter into certain establishments like religion, finance, governments, education, health as well. And I believe that was a pretty big topic of conversation on this big meeting when it comes to, yes, AI, but also healthcare and the systems with certain vaccinations. But you guys, this is falling. You know what else I read? I think this was, you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I recently also read about a day after this meeting, certain mandates were dropped with children, vaccinations with children, I believe. In Florida, I could be incorrect about where this was. I believe I read it was Florida, but just interesting enough that, you know, this is something that surfaced right after the meeting as well. So not only is this, in my perspective, this meeting, let's say, to attempt to seal certain financial contracts, but it's also to embed and attempt control over the institutions, okay? But the thing is, it's a dead end. Remember, 10 of Swords, dead end. It's not going to work out for them. And when we see this, we also have the 2 of Swords and the Chariot. The 2 of Swords is that choice point, you guys. And it also is showing, when we look at these governments, like, it was quite interesting because when I pulled on Trump before, it was him being that he came out as like a wounded warrior. And this is a lot of these certain politicians and high level leaders that have different agendas here. I will say, it's like fractured and divided loyalties. That's what I got really strongly. So when I was looking at this, you know, there are certain individuals that are playing it cautious, and I did get that as Trump, very much playing it cautious here. So some of them are not aligned, even though it was them coming together as a collaboration, right? That meeting was not aligned. It was very chaotic and very misbalanced. So interesting enough, we have the Chariot, which is a drive. It is a force, and usually we could label that as Trump trying to steer the vehicle. But I actually see the Chariot as, guess what, Mother Earth, as Gaia. And during this time, it's like the balance of the opposing forces as well. And it is showing With these structures, okay, with the Two of Swords, the divided loyalties, okay, are going to continue to fracture the system. And with Mother Earth, especially entering September 9th, 2025, 999s, you guys, this is the collapse and this is the end, okay? So very strong. It's coming out multiple times. And on the back of that, we have the Hermit energy over here. And I do think that this is another representation of, again, certain leaks, certain whistleblowers, but it's also showing that this is optics, you guys. This is all just a, you know, it's all theater, it's all a show. And the Hermit does suggest that, you know, the public meeting between Trump and these other, you know, elites were very much, it was a meeting for optics, and what was really happening is happening behind the scenes, like behind closed doors. So that's what I can share there. But you guys, again, I have gotten so many times that it is going to fracture and things are going to fall. So it will get a little bit more intense. But again, with that Hermit, I keep getting to kind of, switching gears a little bit. But during this time, I don't know if this is happening exactly on the 9th or in the days coming, or, you know, weeks ahead potentially, more issues with disruptions with like internet, with the electricity. So it's almost like a flickering of the systems, because I was also getting that in my dream. And I've been personally having a little bit of technical difficulties with also the internet and my technology. So I do think with this, we may experience some issues worldwide with certain things going in and out of service as well in the days to come. All right, so I'm going to take just a final gaze at the crystal ball to see what final messages are coming in before we wrap up today on this specific date and what is in store for us for the momentum. All right, so again, something that I see that it did come up, I mentioned in the beginning, is this date is not necessarily a symbolism of a new portal opening. I'm seeing this as a seal point, okay? And the false structures cannot carry beyond it, okay? So remember we had that Hierophant card. I also get with this, these are going to be certain structures that are going to continue to fall, crack, and crumble. The EU is one that really comes out strongly, and a lot to do with, it's just, I mean, for me personally, guys, I really haven't been putting a lot of my time and effort into watching what's happening worldwide with the news and the politicians and the media, but I see a lot coming up here with news about politicians, specifically Trump. There just seems to be a lot of attention here on some like big shockwave of news when it comes to Trump, okay? I don't know exactly what this is going to be about, but I do see it being quite a big announcement that will potentially put people into a bit of a frenzy here. You know, this could be related to that star card we have, which is either maybe something coming out about extraterrestrials or even some kind of an innovation or new, something to do with technology or AI, but that seems to be coming out of the crystal ball, so quite interesting there. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit because something that's coming out very strongly too is a pyramid, and I really do see these energies as being like a transmission or transmuter. It has very powerful energy, especially, and I'm not meaning just the pyramids, certain ley lines, sacred sites. And with this date, it's very prominent and very important with this 999, because again, it is, as we talked about, the collapse and the endings of the old structures and the old power, right? But what's so interesting too is when we look at these certain elites, whatever you want to call them, these circles, have taken certain ley lines, certain sacred sites, and they have distorted it. So what I'm seeing here is a certain sense of like geometry being flipped or being inverted. And when we look at this with this date, like what was meant for unity when it comes to these powerful energy centers became like a hierarchy of extraction, happen. But what's happening on this date is that is changing. We have Mother Earth, we have Gaia shifting and awakening. And this is going to completely be a domino effect for other things and other structures to fall. So this is actually a really big message and imagery that's coming through. So I love this. This is really exciting because the pyramids is what I'm seeing in the crystal ball very, very strongly. So the pyramids that were once drained, they're going to start to broadcast more of a genuine, true flow again. Think of it as like, again, the stars to the apex, the heart to the earth's core, right? And it's like humanity also acts as living pyramids, stabilizing and correcting this in our own bodies as well. So there's something very strongly coming out about the energies that certain sacred sites and ley lines project, and they were once distorted and, let's say, dirty from these being siphoned, because there's an energy of these structures, the power structures, the hierarchy siphoning these energies, right? But there's a switch now. It's ending and it's cut off. It's like that seal, as I said earlier. It's not that there's a new portal opening. It's that this old portal is sealing shut. So these old structures can't continue to siphon that energy. So very interesting what's coming out. So I'm curious to see how the momentum is going to go in the weeks and months ahead, especially with disclosures and truth bombs being, and probably even arrests and takedowns, more of them being more maybe publicly known as well. So very interesting. So overall, what was like inverted will be straightened, and that the energy is going to start to be cleansed here. So lots of love to you guys. Thank you for joining me on another tarot crystal ball reading for this 999 date. I think before we end, I'm going to also pull a fun oracle from my Pocket Animal Spirit Guidebook. What can you share, Spirit, when it comes to any final messages for the collective on this date? Oh, we have the Scorpion. The Scorpion, and the back of the deck is the Vulture here. Now, these are really cool energies to confirm what we were getting too, because when we look at the Scorpion, it's the venom. I keep seeing the venom, the shadow, the confrontation. And with Trump and Gates and these elite circles, it's like showing that these alliances are laced with hidden venom, you guys. And, you know, even on a personal level, it's like the Scorpion is to call our fierce honesty to surface, so we can look at what's been hiding deep inside, shining a light on those shadows, my friends, okay? And the Vulture is not, you know, it's not a bad card here. The Vulture is, again, about purification. It's birth. It's rebirth and, death and rebirth. And what's interesting enough is the Scorpio, too, is also the death card, too. The Scorpion, the Scorpio. And when we look at the Vulture, it's showing that it's cleaning. It's like what has decayed is going to make room for new to come in here. And when we look at the vultures, you know, feeding on, let's say, the dead carcasses here, right? It is the certain structures, like, again, the elite circles, the, religious structures, the Vatican, the royal family, like all of that stuff. It's like, this is a sense of feeding off of what is already dead, okay? And I mean, maybe this isn't the greatest picture to paint, but yes, we can look at these deep states still making moves and holding meetings and making announcements, for example, but it's like energetically their corpse is already being picked at here. So they may act big and powerful and strong, but beneath it all, you guys, it's really showing that this is a big illusion, and their power is no longer having a stronghold anymore. It really shows that their systems are dying here. So I think with that being said as well, I mean, maybe that would flow into a new video, but I really think there's going to be some big exposures, especially with the healthcare system, because when we look at Bill Gates and Trump talking and others, of course, talking about, yes, AI, but the healthcare system. I really do think there's going to be a big outing on, what really is happening behind the scenes with the corruption and what they really push and the poisons that they push. So with that being said, you guys, I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys so very much. And until next time, beautiful souls, bye for now.